Hello everyone, happy Pride Month. My name is Faz. I go by he, him pronouns and identify as QPOC, that's queer person of colour. My role within AKT is I am the ambassador slash president, which basically means I ensure that the voices of the young people are penetrated throughout the whole organisation, and that, as AKT is a youth-led organisation, that young people voices are centralised. Also to be an advocate for marginalised voices within LGBTQI community, so that's involving black and brown young people, POC, and creating safe spaces for those young people. I also attend youth strategy days and youth engagement events just to see what ideas young people have, what improvements they have, and I feed that back to the youth engagement team, and then we figure out how to turn those ideas into action. I also do a lot of fundraising, a lot of awareness workshops. I work with local authorities, I work with organisations, I work with within conferences for homeless young people, and I share awareness on intersectionality and what that looks like, and best practice around intersectionality and what that looks like. I think that's the gist of what I do within AKT. I think it's about everything. I write articles as well. Recently, I've done an article with National Housing Federation around how housing can be more diverse in terms of race and gender. So I'm always working around stuff like that. I'm also part of the YP Roundtable at 10 Downing Street, where we share best practices on how LGBTQI experiences can be improved when they approach homeless units or the local authority. So all in all, there's a big scope to what I do. Who inspires me? So, young people, I think that's the first thing that comes to my mind. Young people are the future of tomorrow. And looking at them and seeing how far they are coming and seeing the knowledge that they have, seeing how inspiring they are with their words, with what they want to do, that inspires me to leave a world behind which is better, a world which is more inclusive, a world which is more accepting. So I think that's what I thrive for all the time. That's what I work hard for. Trying to make sure young people have more spaces, trying to make their voices centralised, because they are the future. What are you proud of? Right. What am I proud of? I think there's two elements to that. I'm proud, personal pride, and then there's a general pride for being within the community. So I think in terms of personal pride, I'm proud of how far I've come with the support of AKT. I went 2016 as a shy, timid, young, homeless person into AKT, into their Purple Door project. And 4 years later, I speak at public events. I speak in front of thousands of people. I'm an advocate for young people. I'm an advocate for LGBTQI rights. I go to reform meetings. I go to policy meetings. I travel around gathering people's experiences. I think I wouldn't have that confidence or that ability if I didn't have the backing and support of someone like an organisation like AKT. So I think I'm really proud of how far I've come in terms of personal and professional development within AKT. Again, being a homeless young person, then being an ambassador, and then being the first young person who's a president. I think that's the biggest thing that I'm proud of. I've had so many opportunities with AKT, and one of the opportunities is working with JW Anderson. So thank you so much. I think another thing that I'm proud of within the whole community in general is how far we've come in creating spaces for black and brown people, for POC people. I think we've recognised that there's a marginalised group within the marginalised community of LGBTQI, and I love how there's solidarity. I love how there's support. I love how there's a lot work we're doing together, and especially with Black Lives Matter, I think we've come together. We've faced really hard times in terms of LGBTQI history. The starters of our history are black trans women like Marsha P. Johnson. So I think it's good that we're recognizing and knowing our history and working on inclusivity around that. I think I'm really proud of that. I'm proud that we have a platform for young people. When I was growing up, it wasn't like that. Being trans, what does that mean? So there was a lot of things that I think I've learned on this journey. I think I'm proud in general of like again, how we create spaces for young people and spaces for Black and brown bodies to be celebrated, like UK Black Pride. That's a great, amazing platform. Lady Phil has done an amazing job at creating a platform that recognizes Black and brown talent, recognizing Black and brown people that are making changes within the community. So I think we need more initiatives like that, and I think I'm proud to be part of that change that's occurring. Tell us a little bit about your organization. So AKT is a charity which is youth-led. It means that young people drive the way it's going. An example of that is the initiative of the Purple Dawn project starting. So there were young people during Youth Strategy Day that said, we need a safe accommodation, emergency accommodation, where young people can go, where addresses aren't disclosed and they can be safe, immediate response. And that created Purple Dawn, and young people designed that project. So that's telling you that it's a youth-led organization and it runs on young people. They provide support around housing, around counselling, around young people becoming more independent. So they do a lot of work around LGBTQI plus young people. They are creating more spaces for more young people and identifying that there's actually a gap for Black and brown bodies and Black and brown spaces. So the youth engagement team is working really hard around that. I think in a nutshell, AKT is a charity that supports LGBTQI young people and empowers them and provides them with platforms to excel, to gain confidence, and to literally become whatever they want to become. What is the one thing you would tell someone today to support your community? I think now we need to have a proactive response, and I think what people can do is go out your own way to do research, go out your own way to speak to people, realize your privilege, realize where you centralize yourself or where society centralizes you. If you have cis hetero privilege, how does that navigate? How does that work? So I think internally is the best way you can do it first. That's the best way you can support us. But then allyship comes in different forms. You can donate to organizations. A lot of young people right now are going through a really rough patch, living in hostile environments, sex working and survival sex, having domestic violence and domestic abuse. There's a lot of things that are going right now, and organizations out there are in solidarity in creating hardship funds for the LGBTQI community. So where we can't physically join Pride, we can become part of a Pride initiative, and I think that's quite big. I think it's important that people, as allies, speak to organizations, speak to individuals. Obviously, as I say, in a safe space, but speak to these people. Find out from your friends who identify within this community what is it that they need. Support doesn't necessarily have to be a grand gesture. It's like they say, it starts in your own home. So changes start in your own home, and make that change within your own circle of people, and watch how that spreads, watch how that networks. I think another thing that you can do is right now, Black Lives Matter. Reach out to your Black LGBTQ identifying friends, colleagues. They're going through a really tough time right now, and in solidarity is where we can stand, because at the end of the day, we're one race, and that's human race, and we need to join hands and find a way together to heal each other. I think that's so important. You can do little acts of kindness to an LGBTQI person for an LGBTQI person. There's young people out there that can do with mentoring and shadowing and support. You can opt in for that. If you're a professional in a sector, you can give us advice on that. So there's so many things that people can proactively do, but the most important one is to become a good ally. You need to know what that looks like, and you need to look within yourself to be able to identify that, and then you can branch out to a wider thing. So increase your knowledge, reach out. I know a lot of people walk on eggshells around LGBTQI race issues, but I think until we don't speak about it and talk about it, we're not going to get anywhere. So let's open that door, let's open those spaces, and a lot of people have opened those spaces. Reach out to those people. If you could listen to one artist, read one book, or watch one film for the rest of your life, what would it be? I think one book comes to mind, and that's Osho. And it's called Living on Your Own Terms. And the idea is, I think I can live with it for the rest of my life, because every single day I learn a new lesson from that book, which teaches you about rebellion and how rebellion looks like. It teaches you about self-awareness and what self-awareness looks like. It teaches you about different lessons that, as I was reading the book and as I have been reading the book, I've learned new things about myself. It was a book I got as a present from a friend. And one of the best presents I've ever got, one of the most precious presents I've ever got, because it teaches you so much. So that's definitely one thing I would I would have for the rest of my life. Thank you so much for the opportunity that you have given me. It's great to be recognized, and it's great that, you know, AKT can give me this platform, and it's also great to see you on a bigger platform providing that space for us. So thank you so much, and happy Pride to everybody.